You're listening to the Emerging Futures podcast with Joe Mardell. And anticipated episode with one of my good friends and long-time LinkedIn connections, Johnny McCamely. It's great to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me on, Joe. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Is there anything in particular that you're really excited about this year in the crypto and blockchain space?
Yeah, so let's say just a couple of moments ago, I happened to check an app which tracks the market capitalization of the crypto asset market, which is basically the money or the value of the money in the crypto asset market. And it's just passed over 1.7 trillion US dollars. And Bitcoin just passed 54,000 US dollars. So it really is an exciting time in the crypto asset space. I'm excited to see how many institutions jump the gun, just like MicroStrategy and Tesla have. I just think it really is a domino effect. MicroStrategy first putting hundreds of millions in at a time, which have now turned to billions in value, and obviously Tesla putting in 1.5 billion. To me, that's just a huge sign that other companies will start doing the exact same thing, especially with Tesla being a leader in their space. I think everybody will just follow suit. It's really just a matter of time.
I think it really is fascinating when you see stories in the news like Tesla investing such a large amount into Bitcoin. But I feel like there's a lot of people that don't really understand why that's a sensible move for a company like Tesla. Why don't they just invest that money in their car manufacturing or, a new product line or something? So could you help us to shed some light on why Tesla did that, do you think?
So companies like Tesla that have cash in their treasury, last time I checked, the cash was losing value at 15% year on year. So why would you not convert into, Bitcoin, which has been coined by many as gold 2.0? And it definitely is a better gold. In my opinion, it will only be a matter of time before the market capitalization of Bitcoin takes over the market capitalization of gold. Bitcoin's more easily divisible. For a start, it's digital, so it can be transferred very, very easily as opposed to gold. You think the cost that goes into shipping gold, it must run into the thousands, if not tens of thousands and beyond. If you want to ship gold from, China to the United States, where you can send Bitcoin in an hour. It's really that it's simple. You can send billions of dollars worth of value in such a short period of time. So it really is amazing.
Yeah, not to mention the added security as well. I mean, think of the risk of shipping gold around the world in comparison to just sending Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about pirates with Bitcoin, do you?
Yeah, that's true. I suppose the only thing you have to worry about, if you have that sort of capital in Bitcoin, you're going to probably, in fact, you will self-custody your private keys for your crypto assets. So the only thing you wouldn't want to do is lose maybe your password or your recovery phrase to get into your Bitcoin wallet. Because I think there was a guy not too long ago, maybe a month ago, a guy called Stephen Thomas. He was all over the news, Forbes, BBC, wherever else, that it was close to $300 million he has locked in a Bitcoin, it's called I can't remember the name of it, some sort of hard drive, and you have 10 goes to get into it, or it wipes itself. All the data is encrypted and disappears, and his password is in that hard drive, and he has 2 guesses left, so I'm sure it keeps him up at night. It would keep any of us up at night,
That is horrendous.
So that really is.
I can't imagine what going through his head.
I know it's absolutely insane. A lot of people always say they don't get into the space for the money, the investment. The ones that get in years ago, they were in it for the libertarian view, getting away from government and setting up their own payment networks. But in my opinion, something like that, and I'm sure most people agree now in that space, it's never going to happen. The government's never going to give up control. I think governments will start buying Bitcoin I've already seen a couple of countries that have set up mining rigs to mine Bitcoin. In my opinion, it's only a matter of time before central banks turn around. I know Christine Lagarde said a while ago on Twitter, maybe it's just a couple of weeks ago, that basically they were not interested in holding Bitcoin. But, you know, I just don't see that as a possibility. Bitcoin to me is digital gold. Why would you not want to hold it as a central bank? You know, especially with central bank digital currencies coming in, that's a completely different, talk. It's insane what central bank digital currencies will do for the world,
Should we go a bit deeper into that? Like, what sort of things really excite you about that?
Central bank digital currencies, I think, will really transform the entire world, how everything operates. I think one of the biggest ones will be tracking. So I'm sure we all know, we basically have little to no privacy in today's world. There's no doubt about it. No matter how careful you are, you essentially have little to no privacy. And I know in China, they tell you how much tax you owe them. They track everything. And soon enough, with central bank digital currencies, which a lot of people have said that it's not to replace cash. I don't believe that. I believe that the goal of a central bank digital currency is ultimately to replace the cash. So it's going to be a walk in the park to track money laundering and, what people owe for tax. And it really is going to be a walk in the park, especially with what's going on now in the world with, I know in Wuhan, when COVID first started kicking off, there was reports of them burning, piles of money because they didn't want the disease to spread. We don't really know how true that is, but it's viable. I'm sure we both know we've obviously handled money. I'm sure maybe a generation or two, beyond us maybe won't handle money, but we know that money can be dirty. You don't know where it's came from, how many people have had it before. It's to me, it's a central bank digital currency will be ushered in sooner than most people think. I think an estimate last time I checked was around 2025. But realistically, I think there could be one pretty soon, in the next year or two. I wouldn't be surprised if a central bank digital currency was ushered in.
Well, that would be a pretty incredible milestone for the entire blockchain and crypto space, that's for sure. And it's really interesting what you were saying about how with digital currencies and maybe a cashless society, it would be much easier to track stuff like fraud and money laundering. And without getting too conspiratorial, do you think that potentially part of the reason why large organizations and governments haven't been too supportive of like moving away from cash into digital currencies, do you reckon that's something to do with that aspect of how it's much easier to track where money is moving around the economy, and perhaps the ones in power don't want it to be revealed as much? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I watched a podcast not that long back and they touched on that exact point. If there is a central bank digital currency, we can all view where our money is going. For example, if you donate to your local politician, you would be able to see essentially where that money is going. That could be getting spent on holidays here and holidays there, as opposed to, funding their objectives, for the state or the country or whatever it happens to be. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people will be scared of it and won't want it implemented. But the way I see it, and it actually resonates with me quite a lot, I would watch a lot of talks that Gary Vee would do, and not as much now, but I used to watch quite a lot of them. And he always drew back to his past when he was telling people, look, I want to sell wine on the internet. And people laughed at him and went, the internet's a fad. It's just going to pass. It's for the younger generation. To me, blockchain and crypto, and of course, central bank digital currencies, really are going to be the future. It just hasn't caught on yet. I think in 10 years from now, maybe even sooner, it will catch on, mainstream, especially with, as we were saying earlier, companies like Tesla buying 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. That just sort of wakes everybody up. What I do at CryptoClear, we have had an absolute snowball effect from that news, and Tesla came out with both member signups and subscriber signups to our newsletters. It really is just, the numbers just picked up so quick. It was about a day or two after that, Tesla come out and announced that they bought 1.5 billion. Just my social medias were lit up, and our email was lit up with, what is crypto? How do I get into it? A common line was, with what's going on in Tesla, I feel like I want to get in now. That was one or two people said that, but I think people also have the aspect of fear of missing out, with even the tech, what you're going to do with your business. People don't want to be left behind. That is the fear, they're going to be left behind and just left in the dust, and obviously that doesn't apply too much to the crypto. It applies to, more what you're going to be doing with advising CEOs and how they can really develop their business for the fourth industrial revolution. But it all comes around in the same, stroke of a brush. It really is a matter of time,
Yeah, and we've seen what's happened previously with other technologies when they've been coming to the forefront and starting to be adopted. Companies or organizations that don't appreciate that trend or the potential for that technology, often they are left behind. And we've seen examples like Kodak and Blockbuster, who just didn't see the value in a new technology. They were kind of a bit too cocky in their position and just were too late to the mark, really. And I can see a similar thing happening with the new technologies. Like you said, there's fear of missing out. And I know that early adopters of the fourth industrial revolution are predicted to see 122% increase in cash flow, and late adopters will only see 10%, which obviously, 10% increase in cash flow is good. But if all your competition are getting 122%, you won't be so happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to hear that the Tesla announcement had such a positive impact on your business. And yeah, I can really see that would probably continue as more people begin to trust cryptocurrencies. The more companies like Tesla that start to invest, it just adds to the credibility of the whole movement. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait to see how many institutions purchase Bitcoin by the end of the year, and the year after that, and the year after that. It's really just to me, it's like a dribble effect almost. Bitcoin is known as the most famous crypto asset. Everybody knows what Bitcoin is, but maybe not everybody knows what Ethereum is, or you can go on and on down the list. And eventually, large institutions and obviously large companies will start looking at these assets and going, hold on a minute, this is really going to change the world. So why would I not, invest in these crypto assets? I think another big point, which sort of harps back to what we were talking about earlier in relation to companies sort of keeping up with the current technological developments, is definitely decentralization of social media. I think that's going to be a huge thing. We've obviously seen, what's been happening with Twitter and Facebook. And I really think that a decentralized social media will be a huge thing in the future, where no central entity will have the power. It will be governed by the community as opposed to one central authority. And in relation to that, a huge thing with crypto at the moment is what's called decentralized finance. So it's really taking all the finance aspects away from, the banks and the money lenders, and really putting it on a decentralized platform. So you can lend out your crypto assets without really a middleman, so to speak. And that really is changing the whole game, because there's people in Africa and other continents that maybe don't have access to a bank. I remember I was listening to a podcast once, and they said they didn't have the right shoes to walk into a bank, which, when you think about that, is absolutely insane. So, the majority of people who will be using these decentralized finance platforms will be people who don't have access to a bank, who can go on and get loans through DeFi at a reasonable rate, that maybe couldn't even walk into a bank. Like you and I, if circumstances were normal minus COVID, we could walk into a bank, no problem. Nobody's going to stop us and say, how much are you worth? Where in some countries really is a case where some people just don't have access to banks. Maybe it's too far away from where they live, 3 or 4 hours, or maybe they get stopped at the door.
Yeah, so I can definitely see that being a really useful use case for these decentralized currencies, helping to democratize finance and increase the accessibility of banks and finance networks to reach more people, in the emerging economies especially. But I'd just like to jump straight back quickly to the point that you raised about social media and how blockchain can be used to kind of solve some of the problems with social media. And that's a really interesting one that you said about decentralizing social media and putting the power back in the hands of the users, which is something that I feel really passionate about. And I think that it won't just happen, but it will be essential in the future, because when we see social media evolve into the next stage of the internet, the next stage of social networks, it's going to become a lot more immersive with technologies like AR, VR, and the metaverse. And when we see that happen, if those platforms are still run by the same corporations or similar corporations that run social media today, they will be bombarded with the same level of ads that we see today on social media. And can you imagine putting a VR headset on and going to work or going to a social gathering in a virtual world, and all around you is just adverts, adverts, adverts? I just don't think that that's a positive future for humanity. I don't think anyone wants that. So essentially, blockchain is the key to solving that problem.
Yeah, 100%. Just when you said that, it really made me think. There was an article I read just a day or two ago. It was talking about how digital art will be the future. People will put on headsets and go into these virtual museums and look around art as opposed to walk around museums, which seems crazy to some people, but to me, it is inevitable, especially with art in the crypto space. I mean, some art pieces in the crypto space are going for insane prices, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It really is insane, and to me, it's only a matter of time. Our lives are digital, especially the generation below us. That their whole life is digital, so why wouldn't they want to go and look at art in the digital world, in my opinion?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think some of the best art that's currently available is through digital channels of creativity. I'm quite passionate about graphic design, and so I'm really excited about the future of graphic design, the future of art, like you said, when it moves digital, and the potential for creativity in these immersive worlds is pretty endless, to be honest. Like, the sky's the limit in terms of your imagination and creativity when you've got virtual worlds as your canvas. It's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that.
Yeah, 100%. It really is exciting times ahead in the whole space.
So when it comes to decentralizing social medias, obviously this is very speculative, but do you think that we'll run into hurdles when it comes around to the people who currently run social medias, like the corporations that currently run all the social media platforms? Obviously, it's not really in their best interests for these platforms to turn decentralized. So do you think that will be a bit of a conflict over the next decade or two of this transition between the power of the social media power being in the hands of corporations, and then potentially having it transition into the hands of the people? Do you think that will be a struggle?
100%. I think there will be obstacles, but I would sort of compare it to the way the gold bugs would look at Bitcoin. A lot of them wouldn't have touched Bitcoin just a few years ago, and now a lot of them are selling their gold for Bitcoin because they really do see that it's a better Bitcoin, it's a better gold. Bitcoin, without a doubt, is a better gold. So I really see the same thing happening with social media. Of course, there'll be huge opposition probably in the background that you won't see. But I think the public face of them companies, just due to the fact that everybody will want a decentralized web as a whole, which will include obviously a decentralized social media built on top. But I don't think they'll go against it openly. But in the background, I think they'll absolutely despise the idea of it, giving up power, because, people love power. There's no doubt about it. We as humans love power. So they're not going to give it up easily, but I think they'll lose.
Yeah, I can see that as well, and I think that there'll probably be a similar struggle with governments and the transition to decentralized currencies, because again, they're going to be in a position where they're looking at losing some of their power if they allow this trend to proceed. So yeah, it will just be a case of, when will they have to give up power? How long will it take for the people to kind of put enough pressure on them to make it happen? So yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left. So do you want to just tell us a little bit more about CryptoClear and how you've been getting on with that the last couple of months?
Yeah, so CryptoClear was really built out of a passion to make crypto asset investing clear for everyone. I first started investing in crypto assets back in December of 2015, and it was a completely different world back then. It's so much easier now to buy crypto assets, store crypto assets. It's a lot more secure. So I really built CryptoClear to provide the knowledge so everybody can be confident as an investor in the crypto asset market. And with our membership, you get the full course material, which covers the complete A to Z of crypto asset investing. So everything from what is crypto to what is blockchain to setting up an exchange and the security of your digital assets and so on and so forth. And you also get fundamental reports. So it's a breakdown, for example, of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link are 3 reports that we have in there at the moment. And we also have XRP. And we also have on-demand requests and free Zoom calls as well for members, which I've loved doing as much as the members have loved booking them. They're absolutely fantastic to just jump on a Zoom call for 40 minutes and get to know the members more about just their everyday lives, what to do, and of course talking about crypto, how it's going to transform the world. Where I'm based here in Belfast, there's a large amount of people that are really interested in the crypto asset space, and I have huge goals for CryptoClear. My goal is to make it the biggest crypto education platform out there for long-term, medium-term, and short-term investing. That is what I do in the background during the day. I would do medium-term trades and day trade, as well as working on content for CryptoClear. So that really is my goal. And I'm actually in talks at the moment with the Financial Conduct Authority about getting a crypto fund set up so I can, manage other people's money and invest in crypto assets for them. It's been a long process, but I'm pretty positive we're going to get a positive outcome out of it.
That's awesome. I think that's got a lot of potential for the future. If you can, if that gets confirmed and you can set up a fund, yeah, there's definitely huge potential there. So what would you say to someone who's just getting into crypto trading? Why do you think it's worthwhile for them to go with you at CryptoClear rather than just trying to teach themselves how to trade crypto? Obviously, I've been following your content for a long time, and I know how much value you add to your members. Do you want to just tell them a little bit about why it's so important that they reach out to you rather than just trying to teach themselves?
Yeah, 100%. So in the course material and also the supplementary material, I have made notes of exactly how to do things A to Z. So members, one, don't make mistakes, because I've made mistakes in the past, sending funds to an incorrect address that is just completely, it can't be recovered. It's gone, it's lost. I would say also, as part of the great feedback we've had from CryptoClear, is really the preciseness of the course content. There's courses out there that are 6 or 8 hours long or longer. I think our course at the most is 2 hours, and it covers everything, the complete A to Z of crypto asset investing. And another huge form of feedback we've had about the membership is also my portfolio diversification and dollar cost averaging plan. So a dollar cost averaging plan is just what I invest in every week. It happens to be a Thursday, but you could dollar cost average every month if you wanted to. And some members have looked at my dollar cost averaging plan and tailor it to their own and do their own plan, but it gives them an insight because the crypto assets that I've invested in, some have increased by hundreds of percent, thousands of percent, and a few tens of thousands of percent from I first invested in the crypto asset market. So, there's over 8,000 crypto assets out there. And I do believe that the crypto assets that I've picked and the crypto assets that I continually invest in week by week is the 1% that will survive, because 99% of crypto assets have zero use case, because they have no real life use case, where there's only a select small amount of 1% of crypto assets which will be utilized in the future. It's sort of very comparable to the dot-com bubble, So 99% of businesses just faded away, because there was no use for them, there's no need for them, and the 1% stayed and not only survived, but thrived. And I believe that that's exactly what's going to happen with the crypto assets in my portfolio, which is available for members. So that's definitely a huge benefit for what I would say for somebody getting a membership with us at CryptoClear, along with, of course, the unlimited Zoom calls. I love taking them Zoom calls with members.
Well, there you have it, people. You don't want to be sending funds to unregistered accounts where you're never going to get the money back. So it's worthwhile checking out CryptoClear. Before we finish up, Johnny, would you just like to tell the listeners where they can find you online if you want them to go check out the CryptoClear LinkedIn or anything like that?
Yep. So our website is crypto-clear.co.uk. So you can find me on any social media at Johnny McCamely, and you can find information on CryptoClear by typing in crypto-clear.co.uk. And we also have a Twitter, CryptoClear Info. We're always active on there. And of course, LinkedIn, just CryptoClear on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. That's really great. Thanks, Johnny. And everyone, please make sure to check out those social media platforms and stay up to date with the CryptoClear content. It's really worthwhile. Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us today, Johnny. It's been a really, really great episode, and it's been fascinating hearing about the future of crypto and blockchain.
Fantastic, Joe. Thanks for having me on. I'd love to be back sometime.
100%, mate. 100%. Well, take care. Speak soon.
All right, man. Thank you.